I think one good thing to talk about is that word you mentioned, internal scholarships. Could you explain exactly what those are?
So what I mean by internal scholarships, so at your respective, whether it's community college or university, they should have like a scholarship center where you can ask about the different scholarships that the school offers. For example, when I went to San Monica College, I asked my honors counselor what scholarships were available that I was like qualified for. And then she gave me a whole list, and then I applied for that whole list. Same thing with UCLA. I talked to a counselor at the school, and then I asked which ones am I qualified for based on like my GPA or like what I've achieved. And then she gave me a whole list. So that's what I mean by internal scholarships. I'm just reaching out to an advisor in the scholarship office at the respective school.
A lot of your Common App essays are basically your merit scholarship essays. And what's unique about merit scholarships is you can't really apply to them. And colleges don't even tell you what they're looking for merit scholarships. They don't really make it public either. The only thing I could possibly imagine would be that if they made a list of merit scholarships public, people would almost start tailoring their entire application to get some merit scholarship. Like they'd frame it all in that lens and maximize their merit in that one field, which kind of defeats the point of doing these activities. Like you should do it because you're interested. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm glad you talked about that because a lot of people don't know all the scholarships that are out there that you can get just by talking to people. I mean, Google won't give you results for all the scholarships that are out there. Scholarships, like a lot of things, including jobs, can be about who you know. So I'm really glad you mentioned that. And right away, someone asked about your advice on finding and applying to external scholarships. How much time would you recommend spending on applying to external scholarships? Often, the scholarships with less competition require a lot more work.
Yeah, I would require for external scholarships, honestly, your entire summer. I know we're in like the end of July, but when I applied for external scholarships, both SMC and UCLA, I started in June. I finished in like August, like early August, just because a lot of the deadlines were in like end of August, early September, and I didn't want to deal with applying to scholarships during the school year. So it also just depends on when the deadlines are. My advice would be to start early, just because some scholarship applications, like they don't require anything, but other ones, they really require you to do an essay, a personal statement, like references, even like turning in your resume, a cover letter. So it really just depends on what scholarship you're actually applying for. But I would advise to start early.
That's a really good tip. Yeah, summer is, maybe it's come closer to an end, but there's definitely time left. And I know from personal experience, it's a lot easier to apply to anything when you're not going to school for your entire day. I think that brings up an interesting point to note, and that's the calendar or the timeline for applying to scholarships. So what I can say about this is that everyone watching, you're eligible to apply to scholarships basically from 9th grade until you graduate college. And even after you graduate college, there are scholarships out there that are available for you. There are scholarships that even pay off student loans. But basically, you have a long runway to apply to scholarships. I guess 8 years if you count them. And so if you're in middle school, nothing to worry about, but as soon as you get to 9th grade, that's the time to start thinking. And also, one thing to know too is that some scholarships are only for a specific grade. Some are just for high school students, and also some are only for college students. But definitely keep all those on your radar. Really, it'd be ideal to make a giant list of scholarships your freshman year of high school that you plan on applying to even once you're in college.
Absolutely. I advise on making like an Excel spreadsheet. That's how I kept track of the scholarships that I applied for and like when they were due, what were the requirements. So I would advise on making like a Google Sheet spreadsheet just to stay organized, especially if you're going to consider applying to a lot of them.